You go, boy.
They want to actually, charge $15 for a beer when they can't put an actual productive fucking product on the field, and it's just to the point where I can't go. I haven't tuned into the Yes Network. I haven't tuned into my Yes app. I haven't watched a goddamn game. I can't even tell you how long because this is disgraceful. I've never in my lifetime have seen an under 500 Yankee team ever. Welcome to the U-Goboy podcast.
Yahtzee. Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag, I need more. Hey, 3P, Jordan, whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam. All right. Welcome to a very, very special episode of the U-Goboy podcast. Now, we're usually live from Bravery Studios, but we're live from Top Studios.
Hey. You guys are the visitors today. How about that? Visiting team, you wore your away colors today? That's good. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Away grays?
Yeah, right. Away grays.
Totally. So, it's your boy.
You go, boy.
You know what this face is? It's got a beard. That's Mongo. That bearded face.
He looks like a Mongo. He does look like a Mongo.
100%.
I've been working on it.
Yes. Beard sold separately. And the other beard, we got Chop Sports. Oh, Dave Sturchio.
What's up, everybody? What's going on?
Yo, man.
Good to be back.
Yes. This is where it all started. For our viewers who don't know. You're living under a rock. Mm-hmm. This is where it all started on episode 1, the inaugural episode of the U-Goboy podcast. At the time, live from Bravery Studios, but for this episode, live from Chop Studios. Dave Sturchio, Chop City. You're still called Chop City in my phone.
I mean, I don't know where that came from, but sure, fine. Chop City it is.
Yes, he was on the inaugural episode all the way back in June of last year. So 28 episodes later, here we go again. This is a special edition of Sports Talk. Dave, how you been, bro?
I'm good, man. Life is good. Studio's good. Everything's good. We're coming on to the greatest time of the year. I'm talking about football season.
Oh, yeah.
That is the greatest time of the year.
Yes, sir.
Usually when October hits, it's always like a double dip for us Yankee fans out there, but it's not going to be a double dip come this October because there's not a goddamn shot that the Yankees are in the postseason and can make a run.
Savage away.
I don't really understand. I think Pujols is one of the guys that went out don't count him out yet. I'm like, no, I'm counting him out. It's over.
Savage.
Season gone. And so that's an unfortunate thing to be a Yankee fan, but to be a Cowboys fan and an NFL fan, Jets, there's some hype behind them. And it's just this is a good time to be in the world of sports media right now. So it's definitely, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Like the video, subscribe to the channel as always. Mongo, how you been?
Doing good. I've officially decided it's New York Liberty season. I got the Jets are not ready.
Wait, you're the one watching that?
It's me.
That's it. Solo shot.
Listen,
All right.
it's either that or watch the Yankees lose to the NL East again and again and again and again.
Savage.
So, hey, listen, the Liberty are going places. So shout out to them.
Could be worse. I mean, the Mets told you, by the way, we're not going to be competitive for the next couple of years. So that's kind of brutal.
That's fair.
I don't like seeing the Mets lose. I got a lot of Mets people in my family and then friends, and it stinks to see what they did, but it almost kind of, I don't know, I feel a little good about the fact that, like, Uncle Steve went out there, paid a bunch of money to these 40-year-old pitchers, and it just didn't pan out. Who knew? Who knew that wouldn't pan out?
Who'd have thought?
My God. So.
Yes. So, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I mean, we'll dive right into it.
I can't promise anything.
We'll get into it.
Joe Beningo has trained me well.
Shout out to Joe Beningo.
Bro.
Bro, Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon action.
So let's get right into it with Yankee talk. We'll go clockwise, as the kids say. Dave, the high hopes coming into the season, or semi-high hopes.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I ever went into this season thinking that it was going to be like this big, groundbreaking, we're going to get back to the series thing. The best part about this upcoming season that just kind of came and went was the Judge stuff. Like, hey, good, got him locked up. He's the best player in baseball. I still think. Well, Ohtani is just he's a unicorn at this point.
He's
but like,
a unicorn for sure.
For a position player, I don't think anybody touches Judge and his abilities, right? And then he gets hurt, and then you're like, okay, cool. Don't worry, we'll pick up the slack. We got guys like Rizzo, and we got guys like LeMahieu who are supposed to hit for contact, and that just never happens anymore either.
Oh, my God.
The high expectations is a stretch. I didn't have high expectations. I saw the pitching staff and the rotation. I knew Rodon wasn't going to be there for a little while. I didn't expect this kind of season out of Cole. He's pitching gem after gem after gem.
Yes,
but I feel like he's getting the, we said no Mets references, but I feel like he's getting the DeGrom treatment. You know what I mean? Like we're not scoring runs when he's on the hill, and it's just like it's frustrating to be a Yankee fan right now. To know that there's no actual like plan in place, like I don't understand. Maybe it's the Steinbrenner family that have like, and it's funny, that kind of relates to the Cowboys, because how many years did we put up with a guy like by the name of Jason Garrett?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like 10 years.
Yeah.
And you started to think to yourself, like, does he have something on the Joneses? Like, does he have like nude
pictures?
photos or something like that? Something to that effect. But he was there for a long time, and it was almost like they couldn't stomach getting rid of this guy because he became part of the family and the culture, right?
Right.
Yankees, same way, man. Same way, where all of a sudden you're looking at a team that's ran by, Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, and I feel like they are untouchable. I feel like you cannot tell them that they're doing a bad job. I feel like every Boone interview has been unbelievably rehearsed.
Yes.
And unbelievably programmed, where you think like all he has to do is like, he's like, oh, post game? And just turn on this post game voice. Like, bro, there was a time and I lost it. This is where I kind of said, I'm done for the year. I've had enough. Like, this is where it happened, where he went out and said, other than the 18 strikeouts, we had good at-bats.
Yeah, the Baltimore game. Yeah.
What?
Savage.
What? Wait, what? What are we actually talking about here? Like, is that really like what he said on national television?
Oh, yeah.
And then the best part is John Boy and those guys, they show no remorse.
Oh, yes.
They go in on this guy.
Shout out to John Boy.
And then
Jake.
Boone is like sitting there like, oh, I didn't say that. And they're like, no, you did. You know what I mean? Like,
kind of did.
They're calling him out on his bullshit. It's time to let both of those guys go and blow it all up. Build your team around the best player in baseball, which is Aaron Judge. You have him on your roster for the next fucking 20 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
He's locked up. Do that. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to keep going down this continuous path of having a couple fun bats in your lineup and a gem of a pitcher and no direction. No direction at all. So it's really defeating. Because we, as fans of our age, have never seen this before.
No,
I believe they missed the playoffs one season where they lost to the White Sox really late in the season. And I was like, wait, the Yankees aren't in the. We didn't make the postseason. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And now they're actually giving more spots away into the postseason. You're like, hey, by the way, we're adding 18 wild card
It's
spots.
never been easier.
Still can't even get in. If you can't get in now,
Goodness.
you're a abysmal baseball team.
Yeah.
And these guys can't run the base paths. They can't pitch in relief anymore. We thought we had guys like Clay Holmes, like, this guy's going to shut people down. It's been so bad. It's like, how the hell does a team collectively suck so bad? You know what I mean? And like guys like Giancarlo Stanton, like the guy's built of glass. He's wound too tight. My dad says that a lot. These guys, these baseball players, they should not look the way Giancarlo Stanton looks. He's built like a fucking tight end. Yeah. Right? And he rounds second and he pulls up. You know what I mean? Like they're not built like this anymore. Give me the skinny fat guys like LeMahieu, who probably don't have an ounce of muscle on him, but the guy could slap it the other way whenever he feels fit.
Right,
you know what I mean? So like, give me those guys. I mean, Judge is an enigma. The guy is built like a linebacker, and he does get hurt like a linebacker. Big tree fall hard. I've always said that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When you're that big, it's easy to pull some hammies and pull some ligaments and bust your toe or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's again, to sum it all up, the Yankee season has been defeating. That's what it feels like. I'm defeated to watch this team do what they're doing.
Tell us how you really feel, Dave.
Yeah, right. And again, I haven't been to a game this year.
Me neither.
I don't watch them.
Me neither.
That's
saying a lot because we usually make it out to about 4 or 5 games.
Right.
We were at the Subway Series last year.
They don't even tailgate anymore. It's atrocious. But
that's
like
bad.
It's like the prices are stupid. Like all that nonsense. But what I'm saying is, like I get mad at certain fans. I'm like, oh, you can stop watching because they suck. And I get mad at those people. All of a sudden, I've turned into that person where I'm just like, what else can I watch at 7 o'clock at night? Anything. Anything. You know, I got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, like all that shit. I can watch some wrestling. I'll watch the fucking 92 Super Bowl over and over again before I watch another Yankee game this season because it's just that. It's defeating.
To be clear, Jeopardy Jeopardy is now more competitive than a Yankee game.
Oh my goodness!
At least there's a chance multiple people can be a winner there.
Savage away to that. Dear God.
Savage.
It's not wrong. Not
Rest
wrong.
in peace to Alex Trebek. but yeah, before I head it over to Mongo, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're at Chop Sports Studio in Matawan, New Jersey.
Yes,
lovely Matawan, New Jersey. There's a lovely pizzeria around here.
Couple pizzerias around here.
Several. But Mongo, let it fly with your CM Punk pipe bomb. Pipe bomb.
So I need you to take it way back in your mind. I need you to go back to a happier time. The year is 2023.
Story time with Mongo.
Story time with Mongo. The year is 2023. Marv's got us. In case you missed it, we brought
Marv behind the glass.
We brought Marv with us.
We did. We've got Marv on the board.
He's a traveling producer. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. I would never do this. I would be like, nope, not doing it.
He's mobile. He's a
three-man team. But the year is 2023. It's about maybe 7 months ago. And I told you flat out, the Astros dynasty is not over yet.
No.
There are young teams getting better, and this is not the time, if you're a Yankee fan, to be all in on this season. No. I never for a minute had them as a World Series team. I actually said these next 2 years we're just going through the motions. And unfortunately, our players took that a little too much.
He took it to heart a bit.
And in a lot of ways, you're in a bit of a holding pattern because, again, my big beef is with the fans who think Brian Cashman didn't do enough at the deadline. And my question is simply, what did you want him to do? Nobody is taking on Rizzo's $17 million for a year. No one's taking on LeMahieu's $15 million for 3 years. Josh Donaldson, sorry I had to even say that name.
Fire him into the sun. Right directly into the sun.
Not going
anywhere.
Knows
how I feel about
Bader and the catchers are analytics darlings, so they don't want to move on from them. Literally, you had one option. You could trade Gleyber Torres if you want to get on them for not trading Gleyber, fine. But what was that going to do? You know, they refused to give up on Sevy. They thought they were going to try and finish the year with Herman at the time, so they weren't bringing in a starter. So at most, you would have got a left fielder giving you Gleyber-like numbers. Big whoop. So I'm not mad at Cashman in that sense. Where I point the finger, you know, again, sorry, no Met talk, but we're going there. The big difference between the Mets and the Yankees right now is that the Mets have an owner who will buy his way out of trouble. How did the Mets get out of this season? By basically attaching a little incentive to all of those veterans in those trades, which the Steinbrenners refuse to do.
Absolutely refuse to do.
Until they do that, how is this team going to be different next year? Rizzo's still going to be your first baseman. LeMahieu's still going to be in your infield. Stanton's still going to be, striking out 3 times a game.
Yeah.
It's going to be mostly the same team because what else are you going to do with these guys? And so as Yankee fans, sorry, strap yourself in or start putting the pressure on Steinbrenner because he's the only one who can literally buy us out of this. The one I do completely agree on, though, Aaron Boone at this point has become that, little league or AU coach, that 7th grade basketball coach who goes, oh, I have the first kid who hit puberty. He's really tall. I only need one plan. Just throw it into that guy. The rest will write itself. Right. He has these plans that he thinks are foolproof. His big one lately, it's the getting thrown out of games. He's tied in the lead.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that was like in the beginning, like when he was starting to get thrown out of games, I thought for sure that was like hey, just so you know, Boone's still in it. Boone's still with us. Boone is still rocking with us. He's still trying to fight for the team. Now it's like, how can I fucking leave early? How can I do this? And then
it's in case of emergency at this point.
He
has no idea what you tell me how getting the injured players hyped up because he got thrown out is going to do anything. The problem is not they're not energized. The problem is nobody's on the field right now.
Right.
It's savage. And a bunch of the entire opening day pitching staff is gone. They went a period of time without Judge. Rizzo couldn't see. Mm-hmm. How is getting them excited going to do anything? But he only has like 3 buttons he knows how to hit. He's like a kid playing a video game for the first time. He's got to go. He isn't doing anything for this team other than what he knows how to do, which is very little.
Oh my goodness. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Tell us how you really feel, Mongo. Everybody's just full of ideas today. I love it. Again, can you tell that we're 3 very frustrated Yankee fans? I think
Pipe bomb.
I'll bring it on home before we transition. There's so many directions you can go. You guys covered most of it. My problem, we discussed this before the season started, as well as after getting swept by the Astros. It's like coming into this year, Cashman believed we were a pitcher away. Which was wrong, which was flawed. We said it. We predicted this like the Mayans, all right? We said this was going to happen. Like, to think that you were one number 2 pitcher away, considering that's your core outside of Judge, they're aging. So the year ends. Like, let's just flash back to the beginning of this fiasco. The year ends. You've got Rizzo, who's a year older. You've got LeMahieu coming on. You didn't even know if LeMahieu was going to be that same guy, and he's not and wasn't. You decide to roll back out there with Stanton, who might have got hurt. Oh, shocker, he got hurt again. And you refuse to drop the dead weight. And the dead weight was Josh Donaldson, who's hurt. Hicks, who's, believe it or not, he's with the Orioles and he's hurt. You decided to roll that out again with a new number 2 starter who, shocker, when you signed him, was hurt. That is their grandiose plan, is to basically just, their plan coming this year was just to run it back.
Right.
Like, oh, we got to the ALCS, we got everybody in place, knock on wood, injury aside, we should be back. Same time, same channel. But no, your core is aging, and that wasn't going to fly. It wasn't good enough to beat the Astros last year. It's not even good enough to beat the Orioles this year, because all those younger teams, a prime example of them getting swept by the Braves is what the Yankees used to do. They used to have a beautiful core in place and then understood, okay, who do we go out and sign to supplement and like sign top tier free agents, not analytics guys. They don't go out and do what they used to do. Everyone's doing what the Yankees used to do. They basically build a nice core of young guys from the ground up, their version of the baby bombers, and then they go get high-priced foundational pieces via trades, via free agency to bring in. What does Brian Cashman do now, since they're in this analytics world? Rather than get a Bryce Harper, we've got Hicks.
We got Bryce Harper at home.
We got Bryce Harper at home. All right. And again, if the season doesn't start, if the offseason plan does not involve Ohtani or Soto, in one or the other, if it doesn't involve that, I'm not interested. I'm just not. I don't know what. They got ways to go, but it has to involve one of those two. If it doesn't, sign me up for another last place finish, because I don't see where else it's going to go.
And everybody's getting better.
Yes,
Everybody's getting better.
Everyone getting younger
Blue
and better.
Jays,
Getting
Orioles,
younger and better.
Even the scrub bum ass Red Sox. Every squirrel could find a nut. You know, those guys are finding wins here and there. It's like we're the only ones not scrapping along.
No,
the only ones.
Here's the question, though. Ohtani, that could be a 10-year, $500 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
Given that there is a world where, knock on wood, let's say he gets hurt or something happens after 2 years, we look like the only franchise on earth right now who wouldn't try and do something. We would just eat 8 years of him batting 180
Right.
like Stanton does.
Yeah.
I can't promise you I'm in on this idea.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what else
on
you
Ohtani?
would do because of that possible Pandora's
here's the
box.
thing. If you
where
get
if it goes wrong, we're the only team who would keep him for a decade.
But if you get Ohtani, you got to go to Stanton because he's got the no trade clause, and like, okay, Giancarlo, where do you want to go?
F.
No,
They
too much
won't
money.
do
Too
that.
much money.
Any
Too
other
much
team
money.
would.
They're not doing
the
it.
Mets,
And that's
they
not-
have $140 million of guys that aren't even on the roster.
The Mets would do that.
140.
Cashman wouldn't. Cashman's
And
not
that's
gonna
why
do
it's a
that.
better day to be a Mets fan right now, believe it or not.
Son, get rid of that bum, dude. Get rid of him then. If he won't do the necessary things, that it sucks when you do it, you have to swallow your pride. We fucked up. We screwed this up. Let's fix it. Let's get the remedy. No, not let's kick the can down the road as long as the bleacher creatures are full and you're still paying high price
And
for
the judges'
beers.
chambers.
And the
Don't forget
judges'
the chambers.
chambers. Oh my God, don't get me started on that shit. Which again, fine. He's your star. He's your guy forever. You want to do something innovative for him? Go for it. But the rest of this is just, it's an implosion. It's an abomination right now, and it stinks. Yeah, like I said, unfamiliar territory for the Yankees and their fan base.
Absolutely. And Aaron Boone is really you mentioned the Cowboys. He's giving me Jason Garrett vibes. It's just clap away.
And
Listen,
just chew your gum really hard. It's like
get tossed out like once or twice a week. And
like, you know what? I don't even feel like being here. Hey, Blue, get your strike zone up. What'd you say? Fuck off, right? And then it's like, you're out. And you're like, all right, shower. Hit the showers. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's doing. He's getting an early exit.
Yes,
He does seem to know where 81 and 81 is, though. I mean, that's the most Garrett feature right now. We're 2 games under. Let's win a series now. He really seems sold on that 81 win total.
We're headed there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'd be shocked if they make it to 81 games even with the trajectory they're on.
I can't see that at all.
But yeah, it's looking like no playoffs. Are you guys done with Severino? We talked about this in pre-production. Dave, what? So
I don't know how you
real
fix
quick.
them. That's the problem.
It's to me. Mongo will get to his point, but to me, it's more so neck up. It's like it's not that he's like,
bro. Hasn't he gone on record
neck
saying
up.
he's the worst pitcher in baseball?
That's mental. That's
That's all
self-hatred.
mental.
That's self-sabotage right there.
Have you seen the Royals?
There's
no way he's the worst pitcher in baseball.
Savage way. No, it feels like he's coming to the mound waiting to give up the 3-run home run. And when your pitcher's at that market, just like when your kicker's like, whew, how am I going to miss? Am I going to hit the upright? Am I going to go wide left, wide right? You got to get rid of him. You got to go.
Shout out Brett Maher.
Who's still missing kicks with the Denver Broncos.
And you got the wider wind over there too, for Christ's sake.
Goodness.
Yeah, dude. I don't see the remedy. I don't see the way out unless you move on from these guys. And I guarantee you that will unite the fan base. That'll show you that they're trying. It'll show you that the Steinbrenners are like, all right, listen, we've tried it. We've failed multiple times because if you're a Yankee fan, it's championship or bust every year. Every year. I don't give a shit.
With that payroll?
What they consider a success is not what the fan base thinks is a success. You know what I mean? Like, you have to win a title.
Yeah.
And guys, we're coming up on fucking 14 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a long time. But like, it's weird because it's like if it was 2009, which is the last time they did it, and now it's 2023. So you're like, oh, but it was 2009. But guys, that's like saying if it's the year 2000, that means you haven't won since 83, 84. You know what I mean? Like 82, whatever. So it's. I think people have that mindset where it's in the 2000s, so it's still somewhat relevant. But it's been 14 fucking years. I think it's time to ship up and ship them on out.
Yeah, no.
Cannon,
like the video,
Cannon,
subscribe to the channel.
Cannon,
We see him punk pipe the hell out of the Yankees, and they deserve it. Get it together, guys.
Pipe
Stop me when I'm telling you.
Yes, networks not playing games. Just black out the games.
Yeah.
Black out the games. But we'll transition now. One more time, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're live here at Chop Studios.
Is that something that you like
Studios.
trained yourself to do?
Yeah, drops.
No.
I mean, resets.
The like the video, subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah, you did a lot.
Yes. So in journalism school, they do teach us about resets, and that's it is kind of like trained. Or like it's muscle memory.
I did the same thing. I just don't remember everything. You know what? Maybe I'm a little older than you, so like we weren't really taught. YouTube wasn't really a thing when I was coming up. So
You could blame the Penn State College of Communications,
right,
like most things.
I can also blame him for Micah Parsons. Thank you so much.
Micah, the line is always
Savage.
But let's get some football talk. We got about 20 minutes to go. So real quick, the Jets, Hard Knock darlings. I know you've seen every single episode.
You don't watch Hard Knocks?
He refuses.
No.
Why? You're a Jets fan, right?
Yes.
I'm watching.
Bro, I'm like a Jets fan now watching this shit. I'm loving this.
Is it Lee Schreiber? Is it Ray
Aaron
Donovan?
Rodgers might be the coolest guy in the history of people.
Yeah.
I turned on the
We
TV.
hate him when he didn't play playoffs, but
whatever.
I said I want to watch some old athletes basically run a circus, and I settled in on Stars on Mars on Fox.
Oh my God.
Give me Stars on Mars over Hard Knocks.
Where do you find
Paul,
these guys?
Paul
Like,
Pierce is there. Marshawn Lynch is there.
Bro,
Woodbridge.
I don't
Lance
don't
Armstrong
dare
is
give
there.
my town a bad
Ronda
name.
Rousey is there.
Bro,
It's
first of all,
Stars on Mars.
Stars on Mars, okay? And what did he say before that was like drive me nuts. Whatever. Stars on Mars. That's incredible. Hard Knocks is the shit.
Yeah.
It's always been the shit.
I love it.
Listen, on my
love it.
playlist on my phone right now is half the soundtrack of Hard Knocks. You want to know what your boy lifts to? Hard Knocks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one running those damn routes. You know what I mean? Like,
Rick Flair it up, baby.
oh yeah, dude. I
love it. I love it.
I love Hard Knocks. I think anything. I'm just a football junkie.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
put it here, buddy.
Yes.
All of it. Just
Put
put it in my veins. In my veins, bro.
Like
Give me
Barney
all
from
the
Simpsons.
backstage, behind the scenes, all the shit. I eat it all up. So I just, it could be the fucking Tampa Bay Bucks this year, and I would be like, yo, Baker looks nice, even though Baker stinks. Like, Hard Knocks is always going to paint
I
that
watched
picture.
when the Texans were on, when the line. I watch every year.
I watch every year.
And again, Ray Donovan's doing the soundtrack. That's not,
the voice of God.
Exactly. That's not.
I
That's
can't
not
believe you don't watch.
Here's what I'll say, and I'll get us back on track with this too. I'll
Yes,
kill
please,
birds here.
please.
So obviously, Stars on Mars. I'm getting paid by William Shatner to say that as
Clearly,
many times as I can.
Clearly, Fox is cutting the check.
But here's my take on the Jets.
Wait, really?
I wish. Here's my take on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers. And now that I've said that, so everyone who's listening to this, just because they're drinking at home every time I say that name, I can actually give you some commentary. The biggest mistake people are making this year is that this is the Aaron Rodgers offseason. We are living and dying by Aaron Rodgers in New York.
More or less.
There is nothing else going on. And don't get me wrong, he is obviously the most important player on this team by a billion miles, but you are doing yourself as a fan and you are doing this team such a disservice if you just treat it like the Aaron Rodgers circus. When you look at this team over the past 2 years, we start last year with everything is big. We draft key position players. We draft a receiver. We draft a corner. We draft an edge. When you look at the key free agents, you're talking Carl Lawson. You're talking DJ Reed. You know, we're going for key pieces. Now you go ahead and you look at this year, and aside from doing a great job of having all those players give back some money so they could actually keep this thing going, you look at who they bring in, you know, other than Aaron Rodgers. And again, everyone's going to say, oh, you brought in Aaron Rodgers in the banana boat. You brought in Lazard, and you brought in Cobb, and you brought in Adrian Amos. But when you look at the other guys they brought in, they bring in Al Woods, captain of the Seahawks last year, only left that team because of money. You look at guys, obviously he's not going to play, he's injured, but you bring in Chuck Clark, who comes from one of the smartest franchises. Even something like Thomas Morstead, they bring in to be the punter. We think of that as just a punter rotation.
Yeah.
First of all, good punter. Second of all, guess what comes with him? A Super Bowl ring. You know, even guys like Quentin Jefferson, who's just going to be a rotational piece, he's made the playoffs five or six times in his 8-year career. They did a really, really good job of saying, okay, this year needs to be the complement year to go off of the big year last year. And I know, like when we talked to Joe Beningo, he said, you know, either we win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years or this has all been a failure. No, this has been, we can look at this franchise and go, holy moly, for the first time in 50 years, the Jets understand how to actually tell the story that every other franchise can, where they make their big moves, they complement, they're competitive for a couple years. And so Aaron Rodgers, in that sense, is the final piece of a really good job by the Jets, not a Hail Mary prayer to fix a broken franchise. And so anything you do to make this feel like more of an Aaron Rodgers circus, I feel is really doing a disservice to the Jets.
What about the signing of Dalvin Cook?
Yeah.
See, I actually love that one. I
love it too, especially if Brees isn't right.
And that's why I love it. If Dalvin Cook isn't basically broken by week 8, they haven't done this correctly. Run him into the ground. His sole purpose is to just bridge the gap to Brees Hall. And I think a lot of people think, oh, he is the starting running back here. No, he is the guy who gets you to Brees Hall. And I think once we see how much he's being used, people will figure that out. The other thing is, I think a lot of people get in their mind, oh, Dalvin Cook, he didn't sign until late in the offseason, so he must be done. No, with how limited these running backs' life cycles are now, you just saw it with Zeke too, right? These running backs know if I can avoid playing 1/4 of the offseason, that's going to give me at least a tiny bit of shelf life. So you're going to see this with more veteran running backs where I'm going to wait, I'm going to bide my time, I'm going to see what situations look like after a week or two into the offseason, and then I'm going to make my move. So I don't think you can fault Dalvin Cook for doing that. I certainly don't. I think he's a great addition in that backfield to bridge the gap to Brees Hall. I love everything they did.
It's called team building. And Douglas finally gets that. Robert Saleh gets to get some credit here. He absolutely does, because he has a far cry from Adam Gase and so forth and so on.
The legend that is Adam Gase.
And those eyes.
These eyes.
So Douglas has done a really good job of really building your whole roster and complementing and not just necessarily getting like plug-in pieces here and there, but no, getting depth pieces, because that's how you play deep into the tournament come January, whatnot. You have depth to compensate for guys who are going to get nicked up, guys who are going to get banged up, even if they don't miss starts. Guys wear down as the year goes on. Like the Eagles, they didn't really lose anybody injury-wise last year, but they were really deep, which is why they were able to go on that run, with their running back and quarterback. And then lose. We did that on the last episode. They lost.
Savage.
They lost.
No leads, so safe. Thank you, Mahomes.
But anyway, once again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're at Chop Sports, special crossover edition of U-Goboy Podcast Sports Talk. Mongo's here. Dave's here. Marv's on the board. I'm here, of course, U-Goboy. So we'll bring it on home. We got about 10 minutes before we have to wrap, but let's get to Cowboy talk. And
sure.
Dave is excited for that. He's wearing the hat of America's team. Can I get a how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
You get it. There you go. Jimmy Johnson. I just bought Swagger, his book. So, yeah. So
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I pre-ordered it. I got it. Shout out to Jimmy. We love you. But Dave, I'll throw this question out to both of you guys. I mentioned the NFC champion Super Bowl runner-ups, the Eagles. I mentioned them for a reason. Understanding everything that they've done in the offseason. They've had a hell of an offseason.
Sure.
Howie Roseman, he's good at his job.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at his job. Yeah. I personally, and Mongo agreed with me, that the gap isn't as wide as the national media wants you to believe it is. Last time I checked, the Eagles finished 13-4. Cowboys finished 12-5. They split. They were really, if Dak starts that game in Philly, they win that game. And just in my opinion, that's just me. Do you feel like the gap? What do you feel like there is a gap? Do you feel like they're about? I feel like they're about even.
No, I think both of these teams are built relatively the same. I think there's a good mix of youth and veteran leadership. I think that, there hasn't been a repeat division winner since like 2004. Yeah. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys are very, very deep this year.
Agreed.
I really do.
Agreed.
And look, I know a lot of the times that I've gone into, I'm not one of those, this is our year Cowboys fans because, it hasn't been since I was 10. So like, I'm never on that boat. I'm never on that ship that usually sets sail around September, and then around January we're like, well,
right around the divisional round.
Yeah, would have been, should have been, But this Cowboy team in specific, for the first time, maybe in, I can't even tell you, maybe 2015, I was feeling good. That was like right after the Dez drop or touchdown, but the Dez, whatever, the catch, no catch thing, and I felt like Romo was about to come into his own, and he got hurt, right? Yeah. And then like 2016. Okay, we're about to come into this really good, we draft Zeke.
Yeah.
The offensive line's intact. We feel good about each other. Everything's going to be okay. And then Romo goes down again. So it's like, but this time, the health in specific, has been pretty damn good, knock on wood, right? Everybody's healthy going into camp. You got deep wide receiver room. You got a deeper running back room where I didn't think it was going to be like this. And then you see little Deuce Vaughn do his thing in first preseason game. Now, can that be sustainable? I don't know. I've said it on my Jersey Boys podcast that, a guy of his stature, it might not be very sustainable to run him more than 4 or 5 times a game. He's a little guy. You know what I mean? Like these NFL guys are all animals, right? They're just huge, built like brick shit houses. But when I look at this team and I say, well, if I have to, how many points do I got to score to win every game? How many points do I got to score as a Cowboys offense to win every game? And if you flip it and you look at the defense, I think 17 points a game will win games for them this year. And if that's not asking too much out of a guy like Dak Prescott. Now, I know there's a lot of people after last year that are out on Dak because of the interceptions,
That's fine.
tip balls, whatever you want to call it, right? And I was one of those guys that said, like, Dak is probably mediocre at best. And maybe he has reached the ceiling. But when I look back at the history of the game, and I look back at some of these Super Bowl winning quarterbacks,
air quotes, Trent Dilfer. Yeah, we're talking about you.
Yeah,
Brent Johnson. We're talking about you.
Right. Those guys.
Nick Foles. We're talking about you.
Those guys were just told, don't lose it for us.
Yeah, don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah,
because we got this. You know, and I think that Dak Prescott is leaps and bounds better than those guys. Leaps and bounds. Physically, attributes, mentally, he's a leader. I don't give a fuck what that dirtbag Skip Bayless says. Like, savage. He is a leader by trade. He's a warrior, and he's overcome so much in his life. Look, man, it's August. There's still 2 or 3 as we record this. There's another game on Saturday, another game next week.
Yeah,
a couple more preseason games to go. I think opening night against the Giants.
I'll be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. I think they beat the brakes off the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
I think they beat up a lot of bad teams, and I think those games that you're going in there and saying, I don't know about this game, the Cowboys are going to show some real life against these harder teams in the NFL and show you guys that they could potentially take the NFC this year, because I look at that NFC, it's wide open.
Yeah.
You can't possibly tell me that the San Francisco 49ers, led by Brock Purdy, are going to do the same shit that they did last year. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
I felt that.
Like I understand he's a 7th-round pick, but he ain't Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? We all know he's not Tom Brady. And, oh, by the way, if he gets hurt, don't worry, we got Sam Darnold. And don't worry, we got Trey Lance, who hasn't done shit. So, like, I'm not sold on the Niners. Their defense is extraordinary. I know that. They have playmakers on that team, McCaffrey, Debo, guys like that. Ayuk is going to have a fantastic year. But if you look at the Eagles, every time you see a team like this, they're not being built to be a dynasty, right? Like they got embarrassed towards the end of that Super Bowl, right? They had a lead.
That second half was rough.
Jalen Hurts underthrowing guy. Nobody talks about that shit. They're all worried about Dak's picks.
No.
How about we worry about Jalen Hurts not being maybe that good of a quarterback? How about that? How about the fact that they took away the rule that you excelled in last year, where you had your entire running back team push you from behind to get you first downs? You can't do that anymore, buddy.
Took it out.
Nice try. Now you're not going to be able to do that. I think the Dallas Cowboys have a very, very good chance to win the NFC on the back of their defense and the back of Dak Prescott's heart and mind. I know that he might not physically be as gifted as the Mahomes of the world or maybe have a cannon like a Justin Herbert. But I'm telling you right now, the kid is built to win. And I think that the team has built enough around him where Dan Quinn on the defensive side, DQ, he's the lifeblood of that team. Mike McCarthy now calling the plays.
Yeah.
He will limit Dak Prescott's mistakes, limit the opportunity to make any mistakes, drop that goddamn ball off to Tony Pollard, let Tony run wild. If he gets the call, he will haul. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
yes,
that's what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes,
The
yes.
Dallas Cowboys have a very, very good chance to
Gannon,
make some noise this year.
Gannon.
And I haven't been this amped and pumped about it in quite some time.
Absolutely. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll give my point. You'll bring it home, and then we'll bring everything home. Everything you said, 2.0. I'm so excited about this defense. I was excited about the defense last year.
And they were just as good.
And they were just as good. They led the league in takeaways last 2 years. Like Dan Quinn, whatever Jerry gave him to stay, he might have to double that next year.
Give him more.
Just keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Did you know McCarthy's top of the whatchamacallit, the odds to get fired first?
Yeah, of course, because it's the Cowboys.
But also Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is just chilling there, like, I'll take this team right here. I mean, right now, as assembled.
Exactly,
So
as constructed. But no, like Micah, the mindset Micah is bringing, and it's infectiously spreading throughout not just the defense, but the entire team. Of listen, we're tired of being just almost there. Almost there. We get the divisional round and almost there. We haven't had that type of mindset. The way he talks reminds me so much of Jimmy Johnson. So much of like, listen, enough is not enough. We got to dig deep and go the extra mile because it's not necessarily the talent. We've had talented rosters. We had talented roster in 07, had talented roster in 14 and 16 and 21. We had talented rosters that won 12 to 13 games during the regular season, but then again, that divisional round. And come playoffs, everyone's good. Everyone's good in the playoffs. Shocker. To get to the championship, think about the Chiefs. The reason why the Chiefs have been losing in both of those Super Bowls that they won, last year included against the Eagles at halftime, they had that mental fortitude and that little bit extra to switch, to flip on when they have to, and the nuts need to be on the table. They flip that shit on and they make it happen. They get busy. We have been lacking that. We didn't have it with Wade Phillips. We sure as hell didn't have it with Jason Garrett.
Cupcakes.
I trust Mike. The fact that he's got a ring and he's done it, that I've seen him do it in this century, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't done it without him since. So everybody's saying, oh, Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl. How come he hasn't been to a Super Bowl?
And not for nothing, a lot of people say that Super Bowl was won. How? The defense.
Exactly. The
AJ
defense.
Hawk and Clay Matthews and those guys, they were wreaking havoc.
We have elite players at every level. On the line, on the linebackers, and everyone's talking about our three-headed monster at safety. We got like a four-headed monster at linebacker. I mean, Jabril Cox.
These guys got to show up, though. They got to show up.
No, but what I'm saying is, in the big games in January, and the big games mid to December or whatnot, we've done a better job of. We actually win in December with McCarthy.
Remember that was the stigma.
That was the thing for the longest.
Yeah.
But with McCarthy, that has not been the issue. He has not. You
don't win 12 games by accident.
No,
you know what I mean?
To do it twice, 2 years in a row,
right.
Something that hasn't happened. We mentioned on the last Sports Talk hasn't happened since '92. Like, so everybody that's on the fire McCarthy train, he's doing stuff that hasn't been done since freaking Barry Switzer. So he gets his flowers, but like you said, they got to show up in the big games. They got to flip that switch on because it's not a situation of they're missing stuff. They're not missing anything. Health aside, they have everything they need to contend. In the NFC, those young pups, Bryce Young and so forth, they're going to get Justin Fields. I believe they're going to, in years to come, they're going to get better.
The
window's now.
Is now.
It's still a 3-team race. It's still Philly, Dallas, and the Cowboys, and surprisingly, the Lions, they're in a conversation too. It's those 3 to 4 teams, and that's it. And that's it. Listen, Dan Campbell has those guys fighting.
Yeah, no, they're biting kneecaps,
those-
but it's still Jared Goff, so it's not
Don't
crazy.
mark my words. I said it here. Don't be shocked when the Lions knock somebody out that you don't expect them to knock out come tournament time. Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying.
I'm with you.
Just saying. So, Mongo, bring us on home, and then we'll wrap.
So, as the non-Cowboy fan in the room, I can
Tell us how you really feel.
I can say this a little bit more objectively when I say I don't even go as far as you did. To me, it's Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, way in third. Rest of field, although I probably have Detroit fourth. Yeah,
Okay.
for 2 reasons. First of all, because of the quarterback. But second of all, why I have Dallas up there is because they're in a unique situation where if you were to list the top 6-7 players on pretty much every team, especially the good teams, it's very rare their best players all are somewhere different on the field. You don't have, you think of some of these teams like, the Eagles even, it's basically Jalen Hurts and a bunch of first-round defensive linemen, right? True. So they have faults elsewhere on the field that they did a really good job of covering with some late August additions last year. Yeah. But you can't do that every single year.
You're not going to get away with it every year.
Even San Francisco, I mean, they got 2 great receivers. They got a good running back, but then there's a lot of holes elsewhere, but you look at Dallas and, they have Parsons at one level. They have Diggs at one level. They have Pollard in the back. They have CeeDee Lamb, who's becoming a beast out. These players are spread out, and so they're never going to necessarily have a definitive weakness. They always have somebody who can protect the team anywhere. And if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm already and an Eagle fan, I'm already upset because of the way the dumb league is designed. Those 2 teams are probably not meeting in the NFC Championship.
No,
you're going to need some luck from a wild card team.
If we get there, I don't want to face the Eagles. I don't know, my heart can take it.
Unfortunately, if everything else goes chalk, they would meet earlier.
Right.
Yeah, you'd have probably the divisional round.
You'd have the 5 hitting the 1.
Welcome back to hell.
Both of those teams should be able to beat the NFC South winner. Because one of those teams will be the 5, which is dumb. That will be one of whichever team doesn't win the NFC East will be the best 5 seed of all time. I will go on record
on the road.
and then have to go on the road to at
Bryce
least
Young and
at least to warm weather.
They just did it. They beat Tom Brady on the road.
Presumably they won't be heading to Detroit. They'll be heading to Carolina or to New Orleans or something.
True.
So at least it's a little bit. But you don't want to be heading to New Orleans. Your reward for going 13-4 is enjoy playing in New Orleans.
In the dome. No, thank you.
That's miserable. But friendly schedule. Ton of depth. I'm blanking on the first rounder they took.
Mozzie Smith.
Mozzie. Love that pick.
Haven't drafted a D-tackle in the first round since Russell Maryland.
1991. You mentioned that on the last Sports Talk.
High floor, low ceiling guy, exactly what they need. You see some similarities with the Jets. They got their star players spread out. Now go and fill out that team. And guys like that are genius moves. It's clear that Dallas understands, like you said, the time is now. And they seem to really have their plan correct. And so
a dominant defensive tackle changes everything.
Yeah,
Look at the Chiefs with Chris Jones.
They got to pay him.
Now they got to pay him. Look at you guys with Quinnen. You guys paid him. Look at the Giants with Dexter Lawrence. They paid him. Mozzie is something we have been missing because that makes Micah's job so much easier. Yeah. You want to double team me? Okay, Mozzie's going to be in your freaking quarterback's forehead. We didn't talk about
how deep they are D-line.
Just beyond deep.
Especially on the edge. You get to that quarterback, none of the corners have to cover that long.
And we didn't talk about Gilmore.
Right.
Or Cooks.
That reminds me of a Jets move. The Jets are bringing in some of these vets, and that's Dallas. The biggest move that they made in the offseason, no bullshit, was Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
100%.
And second place was Cooks.
Yeah. I mean, look. Now you're like, we need a guy that can take the cover off the top of the off. Okay.
Yeah, we got that.
We got that. Welcome to the team.
We need a guy to solidify the middle of the defensive front. Oh, we got that.
Yeah,
we need another receiver to help with.
Had our guard holding out for a little while. Don't worry, bro. We got you.
Zach's back. He's got some extra money. It's there. It's there. Team building at its best. So
screw this up.
So quick round of applause. Before we wrap there, we got to as always. I'm wearing the shirt. You get this one here, dude.
Oh, word. Okay. Got the shirts.
This is the official Sports Talk shirt.
All right.
Which is available in the link in the bio. Okay. The Sports Talk line is now available.
Sleeves are coming right off this bad boy. I'll take it.
They'll be working out to some hard knocks.
You go, boy.
Hell yeah.
Stars on Mars if you're feeling dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
So
very cool.
Real quick before we leave, Chop, where can everybody find you?
Chop Sports Sturch on Instagram and at Dave Sturchio on the old Twitter machine.
Gotcha. All good stuff. And as always, you know where to find me. U-Goboy88. That's on
everything.
Go, TikTok, IG, Facebook, u-goboy.com. I-80 Sports for this lovely man right here. I love the draft super show he did.
That was great.
That was
yes, fantasy football is right around the corner.
Absolutely.
So
I'm the defending champion in 2 leagues. I'm trying to get my belts back. Keep my belts. Whatever.
Is this one of them?
Shout out to Wild Thing. I took out Wild Thing last year. Shout out Wild Thing.
He's trying to repeat. I think you won in your league too.
I won in my league too.
We got champions.
Victory table right
here. So anyway, again, grab the merch. New music on the way too. Go subscribe and go stream U-Goboy Music. I'm actually shooting a video tomorrow. Captain Planet, new video. You guys are gonna love it. It's that 90s vibe to it.
I think I got to steal one of your songs to be like one of my intro songs for one of these podcasts that I do. So.
It was a yes the first time you asked.
I did ask, right? I don't even know.
Episode 1.
I get so dry. I just get so busy, bro. I don't know where I'm at. I don't even know what day it is.
Shout out to Dan DiCarlo for the new merch as always, as well as the old merch. Shout out to Amazon Amazon, Jeff Bezos for the hats.
Jeff Bezos.
Love you, Jeff.
Shout out to Elon Musk for Twitter, you know, shit like that.
X.
Whatever. Sorry. Throw up the X.
And of course, Marv for holding us down. Mobile on the boards as always. Chops to you. Thanks again, dude, for
Yeah,
holding
man.
us
Thank
down.
you guys for coming down here.
Crossover episode. I love it.
For sure.
And we'll sign off like this. That's the belt. That's Mongo. That's Chop City.
Chop City.
I'm U-Goboy. We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Yahtzee.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
You go, boy.
Yahtzee.